Coming up on Arirang News. Team Korea is continuing to see success in its medal hunt at the 2024 Paris Summer Olympics, with South Korea notching its third straight gold medal in the men's archery event, and Japan-born judoka Hong snatching silver in the women's under 57 kilograms. Team Korea's Im Jong-hoon and Shin Yoo-bin are currently seeking bronze in the mixed doubles table tennis. President Yoon is pushing for a special bill to set an institutional foundation that will ensure the nuclear power industry's growth without any influence from politics. This comes after South Korea's successful selection as the preferred bidder for the Czech Republic's nuclear reactor project. South Korea's military will be able to more effectively counter North Korea's increasingly sophisticated nuclear and weapons of mass destruction attacks, following the approval of a presidential decree on Tuesday that will set up a strategic command. President Yoon said it will be the centerpiece of Seoul and Washington's integrated extended deterrence. Welcome to the 9 p.m. edition of Arirang News. I'm Kim Bo-kyung. We start with Team Korea's success at 2024 Paris Summer Olympics. The South Korean men's archery team followed the women's team by also winning gold. And in judo, a silver medal was added in a women's event. Our Choi Soo-young has the roundup.
South Korea once again proves its dominance in archery. The men's archery team on Monday stood at the top of the podium for the third consecutive Olympics in team events. The trio of Kim Woo-jin, Kim Jae-deok, and Lee Woo-seok won against France with a set score of 5-1. They finished off the game in the best way possible, with all three shooting perfect tens in the final set. Following the women's team having won gold at the 10th Olympics in a row, going back as far as the 1988 Seoul Games, the men's team are creating a winning streak of their own. It's also the 101st gold medal for South Korea in Olympic history. In judo on Monday, the judoka Hong won silver medal in the women's under 57 kilogram event. Ha lost to Canada's Christina Deguchi in the final after receiving her third penalty warning during sudden death. However, she became the first medalist for the Korean judo team in Paris and the first judo medal for the team since the 2016 Rio Olympics. She is a descendant of the Korean independence activist Ha Seok and was born and raised in Japan by a Korean father and a Japanese mother. Following her grandmother's dying wish to compete under the South Korean flag in Paris, she became the second-best female judoka in the world in her weight category. 19-year-old pistol shooter Oh Ye-jin, who was Team Korea's first female gold medalist of the Paris Olympics, couldn't add to her medal haul on Tuesday. In the 10-meter air pistol mixed event, Oh and her partner Lee Won-ho advanced to the bronze medal match by finishing fourth in the qualifiers, but then lost to India by a score of 16-10. Choi Soo-young, Arirang News.
President Yoon Suk-yeol sent congratulatory messages to each of the 14 South Korean athletes who have won medals in the past 3 days of the 2024 Paris Summer Olympics. The president sent messages to each athlete as soon as they won a medal. To the women's archery trio who won the 10th consecutive gold, he praised them by saying the whole nation will remember the glorious moment of golden arrows soaring high. And to Kim Ji-hyun, who won the very first medal for the country in France in the 10-meter air rifle mixed team event, he paid respects to her for achieving an excellent result while both training and caring for her child. Staying with the Olympics, the men's triathlon, which was originally scheduled for Tuesday local time, has been postponed until Wednesday morning, right after women's triathlon, due to concerns over water quality in the Seine River. According to World Triathlon, the water quality levels were still not acceptable along certain parts of the course because of the heavy rainfall last week, making the river unsafe for swimming. The Paris Olympics organizers said on Tuesday that they are, quote, confident that water quality will return to below limits before the start of the triathlon competitions. On the second week of Olympics, marathon swimming is also scheduled to be held in Seine River. Speaking at a cabinet meeting today, President Yoon focused on revitalizing the nuclear power industry and setting up related legal bases among many issues as the country is set to work with the Czech Republic on the latter's nuclear energy project. Our Kim Do-yeon has the details.
At the first cabinet meeting following South Korea being selected as the preferred bidder for the Czech Republic's nuclear energy project, President Yoon said on Tuesday he wants to lay a strong foundation to build on from this for more projects around the world, with a special law dedicated to the industry.
원전 산업 지원 특별법을 제정하고 원전 생태계 복원과 수출 지원 정책을 더욱 강력하게 그리고 일관되게 추진해서 앞으로 제3, 제4의 수주가 이어지도록 다 함께 노력합시다.
The project, he says, was only possible as the current administration had chosen to foster the industry after the former administration had declared an exit from nuclear power. And the news, he says, has allowed South Korea to have a strong footing in the global nuclear reactor market. This new project is worth 24 trillion Korean won, or $17.4 billion for 2 new reactors at the Dukovany nuclear power plant. President Yoon also said he will be visiting the country, quote, as soon as possible to discuss with his Czech counterpart a successful completion of the contract signing while discussing expanding cooperation between the two countries as a whole. In the meantime, President Yoon also explained that the new tax revision proposed by the government last week focuses on boosting the economy and supporting the lives of citizens through lowering corporate tax rates and expanding investment tax credits.
기업의 투자가 늘어야 일자리가 늘고 경제의 온기가 돕니다. 국가 전략 기술에 대한 세제 혜택을 연장하고 투자를 늘린 기업에 대해 법인세 감면 혜택도 확대할 것입니다.
The tax revisions also include expanding tax-free inheritance from the current 50 million Korean won to 500 million, or around $360,000 US. Yoon said the current system does not reflect the economic status of the nation, and so he had requested that the National Assembly discuss the proposed changes. However, the opposition-led parliament is unlikely to accept all the changes, and this remains a hurdle for the government. Meanwhile, wrapping up the meeting, President Yoon also reminded everyone to take all necessary measures to combat disasters such as heat waves, typhoons, and floods, as South Korea is currently under heat alerts following weeks of monsoon rains. He called on relevant agencies to ensure there were no casualties. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
Now, against the backdrop of potential partnership on nuclear energy, our Oh Soo-young sat down with the Czech Ambassador to South Korea to discuss what this cooperation means for bilateral relations.
South Korea and the Czech Republic's nuclear power cooperation could lead to a robust value-based alliance to strengthen economic and energy security in the heart of Europe. That's according to Czech Ambassador to South Korea, Ivan Jančárek, speaking to Arirang News. The diplomat congratulated Seoul on being selected as the preferential bidder to build 2 nuclear power plant units as part of the Czech Republic's largest ever national project.
So, first of all, it was the quality of the offer. That was why the KHNP was given this chance, to build the reactors. Second is that there is already an experience with the Koreans' investments in Czechia. We've been strategic partners since 2015, and it means, that we are already in a good relationship and we know each other. We are like-minded countries, we are democratic countries, so that's the reason number 2 why KHNP was chosen. And third, I think, that, but it's more on a lighter note, I think, it's a good connection and then there is a good relationship between our 2 countries.
He further noted the personal efforts of the South Korean leader in backing the consortium led by Korea Hydro and Nuclear Power. Yoon met Czech Prime Minister Petr Fiala 3 times on the sidelines of international events and sent a letter describing the potential for future cooperation.
If the heads of governments or heads of states are personally involved, in those decisions, it seems it's not only one project of one company, but it's rather it's a project for a whole country, and that was really important for us as well to see, that there is not only one or two companies which are looking at the possibility to sell something, but it's rather that we will develop a lasting and very intense cooperation between Czechia and South Korea.
Yoon and Fiala will meet in Prague later this year to build on the momentum as the Czech Republic also looks to build a nuclear energy hub for Europe. Last year, it struck up the European Nuclear Alliance with 10 other EU states, including Bulgaria, Croatia, Finland, France, the Netherlands and Sweden.
When the President Yoon will be coming to Czechia in September, it will be the reflection of the decision and of the preferential bid and the possibility actually to promote the nuclear industry not only in Czechia but as well in the whole Europe, because this is really something which we are aiming at. Czechia is founding its has a base for its nuclear industry for its energy mix into the nuclear industry, but as well the other European countries are looking for that, and we are hoping that together with South Korea we can create a European hub for further development of the nuclear energy in the whole European Union and Europe. It's very important for us, because next year or next years there will be definitely some new tenders about the nuclear blocks. In that sense, we have to create, Korean-Czech alliance and actually move forward.
Ahead of President Yoon's visit to the Czech Republic, the two governments are eyeing the potential for greater cooperation in energy, industry, science and technology amid ongoing trade uncertainties and geopolitical complexities around the world. Jan Tarek said that the two manufacturing economies could collaborate in areas like electric vehicles, given the presence of Hyundai Motors in the Central European country, as well as in semiconductors, machinery for renewable energy and pharmaceuticals. What measures can both countries undertake to increase their supply chain resilience, their economic security going forward?
I am sure that if the KHNP is successful in Czechia, that it will be possibility to open up, to the rest of the European and other markets. In that sense, that will give us a security on the supply chain of energy. If we are then talking about the semiconductors, there is another way, how to actually make our supply chain more resilient, and more resistant to the possible disturbances in the world. And third one, and I didn't mention it as one of the important areas of cooperation, is the health and the pharmacy sector, because today the medicines and the health issues, one of the important things, for our societies which are aging, and so we are need, in a good supply of the medicines and pharmaceutical products in our countries, and this is the areas where we can really cooperate.
Next year, Seoul and Prague will mark 10 years of their strategic partnership and 35 years since they established bilateral relations in 1990. Oh Soo-young, Arirang News.
Shifting gears, a strategic command will be established within the year in southern Seoul to strengthen deterrence against North Korea's nuclear and missile threats. Our Kim Jong-shin explains.
At the cabinet meeting held on Tuesday morning, a motion was approved to establish a strategic command. The new command will integrate and operate the military strategic assets to deter attacks from nuclear weapons or other weapons of mass destruction. According to the Defense Ministry, the command will operate under the supervision of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and it will work closely with the ROK U.S. Combined Forces Command. Moving forward, the Strategic Command will conduct joint exercises and drills with its U.S. counterparts based on recent joint nuclear deterrence and operations guidelines signed by the two countries. Initial plans include deploying units specializing in missile warfare, cyber operations, and drones. The Defense Ministry plans to increase personnel in the latter half of the year and aims to complete the construction of facilities and control systems at Namtaeryong in southern Seoul, where the Capital Defense Command is located. Kim Jong-sil, Arirang News.
South Korea's foreign ministry said that it will check whether Japan's Sado mine exhibits on wartime forced labor need any supplementation. During a press briefing on Tuesday, ministry spokesperson Lee Jae-young stated that additional work will be done to enhance the exhibition's permanence. The Sado mine, linked to Korea's wartime forced labor, was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site on Saturday. Seoul and Tokyo had negotiated how Japan would present the history and presence of Korean wartime laborers at the mine as a condition for Korea's consent to the site winning the status. However, there has been criticism in South Korea that the exhibits currently lack explanations about the forced labor of Koreans. The presidential office will allocate staff to assist First Lady Kim Gun-hee establishing a second office for the president's spouse and family that had existed under previous administrations. A presidential official told reporters on Tuesday that efforts to install the so-called second office have begun, in line with the wishes of Korean citizens. While President Yoon had decided to scrap the office as part of his electoral promise to streamline his administration, there have been growing calls to reinstate the body after various controversies surrounding the First Lady. The top office says it is currently reviewing candidates and the number of staff. Observers believe the president's second deputy secretary for civil society, Jang Sun-chil, is likely to head the office, with aides currently assisting the First Lady to be transferred to the new branch. A host of broadcasting bills spearheaded by opposition lawmakers have been passed by the parliament. The ruling party says it will ask the president to veto those 4 bills. Our National Assembly correspondent Lee Si-yu has the latest.
The National Assembly on Tuesday passed the last of the 4 opposition-led broadcasting bills following a 6-day filibuster launched by the ruling People Power Party. At around 9 in the morning, the opposition unilaterally approved what's been dubbed the EBS bill after the Public Broadcaster Educational Broadcasting System. All of the 189 lawmakers present at the session gave their approval after the PPP representatives walked out in protest.
Even if the Democratic Party repeats its deluge of legislations using their large size, our push to normalize public broadcasting will continue.
The 4 broadcasting bills are revisions to existing broadcasting acts that aim to alter the structure of public broadcasters in the country and reduce government influence on them. The bills aim to increase the size of the board of directors of broadcasters KBS, MBC, and EBS, and grant journalism and broadcast societies the right to recommend potential board members. They also call for a change in the Korea Communications Commission's decision-making process by requiring more approvals from internal members to pass a motion.
The 4 broadcasting bills consist of the 3 broadcasting bills passed by the previous 21st National Assembly and 1 more added bill regarding the installation of the KCC.
When the main opposition Democratic Party tabled the first of the 4 bills on Thursday, the PPP launched a filibuster that would in total last for approximately 111 hours. The opposition has since ended each debate 24 hours after its launch through a vote, passing 1 bill at a time according to parliamentary rules. The PPP floor leader Chu said the party will ask President Yoon to veto the 4 bills.
If the president rejects them, the bills will return to the National Assembly for a revote, which would then require a majority attendance and at least 2/3 approval.
Yoon had rejected an earlier version of the broadcasting bills last year. Later Tuesday, an official at the presidential office told reporters that its stance is that the ruling and opposition should reach an agreement to come up with an improvement and that their final decision will be made considering this. Lee Si-yu, Arirang News.
British-American scientist Andrew Yoon plans to advise South Korea on its artificial intelligence development and establish a fund to make the country an AI innovation hub. The renowned Stanford University professor, deemed one of the world's top 4 AI scientists, revealed his plans during a meeting with President Yoon on Tuesday. According to President Yoon's office, the South Korean leader invited Yoon to join the global advisory group within the new National AI Committee. The expert accepted as he acknowledged Seoul's advanced innovation capabilities and essential industrial infrastructure in semiconductors and AI software. Stating that South Korea has great potential to become a top AI powerhouse following the US and China, he said he aims to create an AI fund Korea to foster innovative startups. South Korea has been appointed as the leader of one of 3 bodies of the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework Supply Chain Agreement that deals with potential crises. According to the Industry Ministry on Tuesday, Seoul has been chosen to chair the Crisis Response Network, with Japan appointed vice chair unanimously by the 14 member countries, including the US, Australia, and Indonesia. The CRN remit is to seek cooperation between members by convening emergency meetings when crises such as supply chain disruptions occur. Meanwhile, the U.S. was selected as the chair of both the Supply Chain Council and the Labor Rights Advisory Board, the 2 other bodies under the IPEF agreement. The Home Bankruptcy Court on Tuesday froze the assets and debts of Teon and Remake Price, the e-commerce platforms of Singapore-based Q10. The court is currently in the process of determining whether a court-led debt restructuring for the 2 marketplaces should be permitted, following their filing for receivership the previous day. They have been unable to repay vendors operating on their platforms due to a liquidity crisis faced by their owner, Q10. Following the court's decision, the 2 firms are prohibited from disposing of their assets as well as repaying debts until a decision is made on restructuring. As part of the review, the court has scheduled a hearing with the CEOs of the 2 firms on Friday. There is a saying, the greatest treasures are often hidden in the most unexpected places. If you're looking to discover hidden talent in Asia's art scene, this is a place you might want to explore. Our culture correspondent Song Yujin has a preview for you.
This bright red building used to be the home of the National Theatre Company of Korea. Although it's currently closed for renovation, it has temporarily reopened as a gallery to showcase the work of promising young artists in Asia. This is the 2024 Asian Students and Young Artists Art Festival, or ASIAF, Korea's largest arts festival for emerging artists. This year, the festival is part of something even bigger. This year, it is launching the Culture Ministry's first Korea Art Festival, which officially starts in September. This festival puts ASIAF alongside the Gwangju and Busan Biennale's Seoul Art Week, Kiaf Seoul, and Freeze Seoul.
I have high hopes for young artists as their work tends to be freer, more experimental, and more fearless. This exhibition might give us a glimpse into the future of our art industry 10 or 20 years down the line.
For many participants, this festival marks the start of their professional journey as artists. The first step is always special, but ASIAF offers an even more unforgettable experience. These young talents handle everything themselves, from setting up their work on these white walls to selling and shipping their pieces to buyers. The process can be challenging, but it is a memorable chapter of their careers.
At my first ASIAF, I sold a painting of a turtle. The buyer had a pet turtle that passed away between buying my work and receiving it. They said they would cherish the painting, which touched my heart and made me feel they found the right home. That experience inspired me to participate again this year. Art fairs like this give us a chance to sell our work and get motivation.
For visitors, it's a chance to discover hidden talent and purchase unique pieces that connect with them at affordable prices.
I majored in art at university, but I didn't end up becoming an artist. Even so, I still have a strong passion for art. The pieces by these young artists are definitely bolder in terms of ideas and colors. I decided to buy a piece that resonated with the quiet, tranquil lifestyle I want.
The 2024 Asia-Off runs at the old Baekchang Theater near the Seoul train station until August 25th. 송유진, Arirang News.
This morning was the official end of rainy season. This rainy season was longer than usual in the southern parts of the country and somewhat shorter in the central areas. However, the intensity of the rain was the highest. After the rainy season, we are seeing the scorching heat. Heat waves and tropical nights like now are likely to get worse for the time being. With a heat wave warning is being issued in most parts of the country, the heat will not stop all day tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, heat from tropical nights will continue at 26 degrees Celsius in Seoul, and there's a possibility that Gangneung will have nighttime temperatures of 29 degrees. Morning will start off at 25 to 27 degrees around the country. Highs will top out at 34 in Gwangju and Jeju, Daegu and Gyeongju, 36 degrees. Some rain is forecast for the Seoul metropolitan area and western part of Gangwon-do province on Friday. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world. That's all we have for today. Thank you for watching. Arirang News will be back at 9 a.m. Korea time.